in a safe matchup here against Keen, because I think that's what's going to be necessary for them to have, you know, a really good chance here in Game 3.
Well, we'll see where Afreeca are going to start as far as the bans. In game number 1 on the blue side, it was Diana, Yuumi, and Set that they took away. Hanwha Life, it was Akali, Lucian, and the Ashe off the board. This time, the Jarvan is going to be the first change up. No changes for Hanwha, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it wasn't broken on in game number 1. And the Rumble will finally be taken away. Rumble was picked by Tempt in both games, so not going to have that one to fall back on. And I like this, actually identifying what went wrong. Set is going to be banned. I actually thought that it might be left available, as Afreeca have recognized that there is one champion that doesn't get banned that is completely broken, and they are going to pick it up as first pick.
Now Haru gonna get the Elise for himself inside of this game, and with Set having been banned away, it's a little scary. The Xayah comes in as a means to try to dissuade Afreeca from picking down or taking champions that have easy access to the AD carry. And even if Nautilus does end up getting locked in with the Aphelios, obviously Xayah has her ultimate, so they trade ultimates.
Yep, he
and
just popped that one. Oh my god!
Oh.
I think LS just fell in love, ladies and gentlemen. He did. Flies back on the Pantheon, but that's the Karthus for Spirit.
Hello, Karthus. Now,
by the way, Elise was available.
Get out.
Remember this. That's how important this is, because he could have picked Elise if he wanted to and chose Karthus.
Okay.
Okay?
Well,
there's more significance here.
Karthus is picked up. They're going to want to pair that with physical damage top laners. You want to have as little magic damage coming in from your teammates as possible so that Karthus is able to get the true damage against the enemy team with his Requiem and just start deleting health bars in the late game. And so he is the best magic damage jungler that exists in the game. He has a condition, you do have to play around him, but as long as you go even and stable inside of laning phases, there's no jungler in the game that can keep up with Karthus in terms of clear speed and then just sheer effectiveness scaling into the later stages of the game. One of the true junglers that can actually be intentionally given resources.
And this is another thing, they've identified that, and they've banned away the other true scaling champion in the Ornn, able to give away all of those cool items and stuff like that, and Cuvée was able to pick up a win whilst piloting.
They need to ban Soraka. Soraka invalidates Karthus, because as the Requiem's casting, Karthus, his R can be negated by it. Now, they can R5 the Soraka, they don't have to R4 it. If you R5 the Soraka, it's more likely that you can end up in a favorable matchup. And here in mid lane, you want to look for a champion that is both good against Pantheon and good against Karthus, and to some extent. So you're looking for champions like Lissandra, or champions that have abilities that can somehow shield themselves. The Zoe is very risky.
Yeah, Zoe not going to be able to shield herself from any of the abilities from either of these champions. However, if Zoe's played right, we know exactly what she can do. Mystic. Wonder whether it's going to be a support here, or whether we're going to see the other solo laner. Might be Pantheon heading top lane, you never know. But Mystic thinking about the support to pair with this Aphelios. It's going to be Nautilus.
There's that Nautilus that does end up getting picked up, but remember, Xayah will have modes against it. Now, Elise Repel, Xayah Ultimate, these are ways to dodge the Karthus R. Yep. But obviously, if Nautilus gets the ultimate out of her early, and then Karthus casts Requiem, well, there's no dodging. At that point, it also depends where Elise is going to be in her state of the repel. Need a physical damage champion. Are you willing to blind Aurelia, Camille, things of that nature? Well, we were really good up until then.
Yeah, we had a good run.
Now, if it's on hit cannon, if it's on hit,
that would actually be sick.
That would be very good, and that would also be very interesting if Cuvée would try to take a tank. Now, Soraka should just come in here on R5. Soraka on R5.
Do it, Cuvée. Don't be scared.
Just, Cuvée, lock it in.
They would be so squishy, as Quinn is going to be the decision here for Cuvée. It's not Soraka, but it seems fun.
It's definitely going to be an interesting matchup up there in top lane. as Quinn is not the type of champion that, again, I associate Cuvée with.
I just don't think you'd ever take flying type into electric type on purpose.
I see what you did there. That is definitely a way to weave in the Pokemon analogy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's against Pikachu.
Yeah,
So
that is true.
You take your Pidgey into the Pikachu.
Pikachu went into he went into Solitude, clearly, as he's donning the Shredder look.
Yeah.
Right now.
This has been intense training, Pikachu.
Yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Squirtles is who he associates with.
Oh my god.
Alice, you need to just stop joking so much, okay?
All right, sorry. We need to keep serious. This is the final game of LCK for Week 1. See who's going to take it. Whoever wins here will be... Well, if Hanwha Life wins, they're not going to be able to topple Gen G and their record thus far because they'll only be on 2 points after their 2 wins. But Afreeca can even things out against Gen G with a win. And after looking at this draft, depending on what the Cannon's going to do and what Keen has been able to do on the Cannon as well, looking like it is pretty favorable for the Afreeca Freecs. Just, I'm looking at these champions on Hanwha's side, and just like the health bar totals are not high.
They're not very high, and also they don't have an easy time itemizing magic resistance against this team composition. Now, the Cannon, interestingly enough, does sort of incentivize Merc Treads if it's not an on-hit Cannon. But the one thing is that even though it's not a magic resistance item, Edge of Night is able to be picked up by Cuvée, which is really good against Requiem.
Yeah, that's true.
So that is one of the item build passive. We are already very deep into the game here.
Yeah, made it all the way out. Ticking over towards a minute. It's Fly looking dapper with his skin. And
I feel like this is the Athens Pantheon. Not quite as bulky and big as Sparta, you know, but it's something.
Yeah, it's something.
And Zoe she's doing some moves over there.
Just wandering around. I feel like both of our mid laners are sitting in that camp at the moment. We got Banshee's Veil opportunities for both Tempt and Haru. Edge of Night, like you were talking about for Cuvée. 3 members will be able to defend themselves. Vista has abilities to dodge the Requiem in his kit, but it all depends how Spirit plays the Karthus, to be perfectly honest. Because if you're going to be playing him optimally in the late game, you're going to be getting in amongst it.
No.
You're going to be trying to get that defile down and creating zones of control using the Wall of Pain, things like that. And these Banshee's Veils and everything like that will break. And then the Karthus dies, and then he kills everyone with his ult.
Spirit has the wrong runes on Karthus.
What are you supposed to
He has
have?
Precision Tree. So there's basically 2 options. You either go into the Sorcery Tree and get Transcendence with Gathering Storm, or the most common is actually go into Inspiration. You get Cosmic Insight and Magical Boots. Which
save yourself 300 gold and get 5% extra CDR.
And that's very big for allowing Karthus to just simply power into his items. And then also just go into the Sorc Pen boot. It really helps speeding up his power. And also, he's using the Arthas Karthus, which has a favorable indicator for both yourself and the opponent. And personally, I think using the skin is a little bad because it shows the exact outline of the layways.
And you know where it's going to land as the person who
so
cast
does
it.
the person. So
no, but the thing is, like, even if you're using another skin, you know where you clicked on that thing.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's not as much of a big deal for you, necessarily.
I'm actually going to take a quick look at Spirit's OPGG to see if he's played Karthus recently, because
he has. It's in his recently played. Actually, checked that last time Afreeca played. Mystic and Jelly having a decent time here. Made it to level 2, so they're going to be all right. The Lovers duo doing their best to try and outlane them. So far, the poker's been there as Tempt picks up an Ignite somehow, but it times out. That's bad news. Just doesn't actually want to get into range of Fly's stun, as that's exactly what I was talking about.
Well, all right. So we'll see what happens here with this rune choice here. As so far, Karthus doing Karthus things. Already full cleared his jungle. At least not too far behind.
Yeah, actually heading into Karthus' jungle now just to see what's up.
Yep, Karthus already recalled though. Picks up his Blue Smite as well as 2 Control Lords. So that actually slows down his build quite a lot. He just committed a camp and a half to double control wards. And usually, when you're playing Karthus, you want the laners to be self-sufficient, and you want to try to greed into that power as much as fast as possible. And Haru,
oh wow, spots him. That was a heads-up wall of pain. As hits the first three, first four.
Oh,
now standing on top of Haru, has to flash to get away from the power of the Karthus.
Really good wall of pain into follow-up lay wastes, and that's gonna set Haru back massively in terms of tempo. He's even fighting
Mystic
the
lands
Wraith.
the Q. Vista in a whole host of trouble. One auto would have been necessary. As Mystic down to about 200. Lahen's now in trouble as well, but he's able to just dance away. Mystic had marked him up, but actually couldn't find the follow-up there in order to get the root with the Gravitum. But showing the power of Aphelios very early in this game is a frightening prospect, to say the least. And already, the duo that we know is laning pretty well together is behind by 10 CS, and the Xayah had to go home.
And everything else is going actually pretty well, although bottom lane, Afreeca, with that turret plate, with the CS advantage.
This is going to be a huge disparity of gold when Mystic does eventually go back. Infernum helps him clear out that wave very, very well. Now Cuvée up here on the top side, just shoving in. He's actually doing absolutely fine against Keen, but I don't think it's the same situation as when he was the Ornn, because the Ornn just had to live in the lane, right? You have to actively win the game as Quick.
Yeah. And we'll see what ends up happening as this game does continue on. Karthus about to be 6 soon, as are the laners.
Yeah, Keen wondering whether he's going to hold on to this teleport for a little bit longer, try and get that early team fight. Probably not something that Spirit wants to do. He wants to keep fighting around his jungle, but I guess getting the stacks on his Dark Harvest would certainly be a good thing.
Now, he's taking some of the lane XP, and this is something that you can actually do to accelerate him, because Karthus, his clear speed really does depend on the base levels inside of his points until he gets Runic Echoes. So, he's almost level 6. I think he gets it as, he gets it as he kills the Scuttle Crab. And he is an entire level above Haru right now.
Yeah, almost exactly.
And we have yet to actually see, by the way.
Yeah, he's currently hanging around towards the top side, as you can see on the mini-map. Coming down to try and steal away a blue buff. Currently, Tempt actually having a great time up against Fly, just keeping him under this turret. Fly is getting these minions pretty well. As I say that, misses one. I gotta stop caster cursing. I've been doing it so much today. It's real bad. As Tempt is gonna come steal this one away, but Spirit, he's already there. He knows what's up. Lay wastes get to work. Even throws out a spare one for
the
fun.
dragon. Actually, I think it depends on how he's feeling. I think he's waiting for confirmation that Elise is on the left-hand side, and once he has it, I believe he'll start it. They know about Karthus. That ward just ended up dissipating. He's coming down here with blue, though, and with the Pantheon that's in close proximity, plus Wall of Pain, plus the lay wastes.
And he's getting plate gold. Jelly moves out of range so that the majority goes to Mystic and Spirit. He'll get another plate. As Spirit and Mystic holding onto the wave. And this is an Afreeca Freecs squad that are playing around their jungler and allowing him to succeed. 57-46, few camps in the lead, ahead of Haru.
Yeah, now he's going to start the Infernal Dragon, and this is really nice to pick up for this team composition. All champions that want to be doing damage. Now, one of the things also going on here, he's going to recall into Runic Echoes, then he's going to be able to full clear his jungle south to north, bottom to top. Now, Cuvée recalled into Hexdrinker first item before Keen has. Keen has option to just say, hey, you know what, I'm actually not going to go magic damage on Kennen, and I'm going to make that item virtually negligible, although it will protect against Requiem almost entirely.
That's a good point.
Bilgewater Cutlass picked up.
Well, there's the ulti to come down from Mystic. Calibrum damage in there. That's how you get a kill. You just say, send in the Karthus, and he'll pick that one up. The Moonlight Vigil with Calibrum is so dirty, as we saw in the last game.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, you're a big fan?
I'm a big fan.
I know.
Laners,
you don't care what it is, as long as it's something that's really toxic to play against, right?
Yes.
Well,
you think the opponents are having
welcome
fun
to
right
Elodios.
now? Yeah.
They're absolutely
yeah, that
not. Elodios and Karthus, I think
So,
two champions that you just, if they get
I'm
to
a
a certain
fan.
state, you actually just can't do
Yeah.
anything.
So, this is a 5-plate at 9-minute bot lane Infernal Drake for the Afreeca team composition. And Lahenz looks like he's panicking.
Yeah, we're looking for a hard engage now as Vista pulls back the feathers, but it's not going to land on a Mystic. Infernum has been brought out as Spirit. Going to come on over. Temp, lay waste, going to miss, but he's got the heal. Takes a turret shot. It's not what you want, but the stun is just off cooldown, and Keen isn't coming down. Spirit flashes for it. Now waiting for that wall of pain, but honestly he doesn't need it because Fly has the stun. And Afreeca, they force the gank, but they get it. And Vista's down to 100 as the dust settles bottom lane.
And it just really feels like it's all over in this game. Karthus is so far ahead. He's going to pick up the Rift Child right now. He also has Ravenous Hunter, not Ultimate Hunter. So it's not like he's going to really take any damage from this. And again, Keen has the option to just go into Blade of the Ruined King on Kennen and try split pushing on him.
I really hope he does.
I really hope so too. That would be a really nice innovation in response to Cube building the Hex Drinker as early as he did, trying to get dual benefit as Spirit looks like he's about to take that Karthus up to the top lane, plant down the Herald, and this is really good. When you have Karthus on your team, he has conditions that he wants to be met. Trade with your opponent, get them low, so that the Requiem is adding the extra damage that the opponent isn't really accounting for in the moment. The opponents are always basically playing about 200 to 250 HP down from what they believe that they have.
And also, look at this moment, right? This is just Afreeca moving as a unit to the top lane, projecting exactly what they're going to do, and Hanwha Life have no answer. There is no option. Shelly just removes this turret. I believe, yeah, it was Shelly, not Shirley just yet. We're still early in this game. And that turret's going to be taken down as well. The global gold advantage is over 3,000 at 11 minutes.
How much?
Sorry,
9,000?
3,000? I said
All
3,000.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it is 3,000.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Yeah. What did I say?
No, I was making a reference.
Oh, okay.
9,000.
Over 9,000. Got it. Well, Cube can
That
get
is-
Requiemed.
Yeah, they can't.
By the way, Keen has Ninja Tabi.
Yeah,
We
Keen
can
has
still
Ninjabe,
keep hoping.
and the exhaust came out from Cube, which obviously mitigated a lot of the damage. The Karthus Requiem does go on cooldown. I don't even believe that he got a Dark Harvest stack, so
Yeah,
a
I
little
don't
bit
think so.
unfortunate there. I think they really didn't anticipate how much the damage reduction from the exhaust would be, and they just miscalculated that.
Aww.
Total damage dealt.
Cube, sorry.
Haru's doing a really good job there.
Keen just built a book.
190, and you know, he hasn't been able to do anything. He ended up falling behind in the jungle. He tried to make a really intelligent play, waiting in that brush at blue for the Karthus to restart his route. And if you pick Karthus off right there, you're going to stay ahead of him for so long at that point. You're going to steal both of his camps that just respawn. Everyone's going to have map hacks. You know that he's going to Wraiths. You know that he's going to Golems. Very easy to play around him at that point, but Spirit, a little bit of a savant reading it with the Wall of Pain.
Yeah, really clean. And honestly, like, it doesn't cost you that much mana to make that decision. However, if you do make it, then you guarantee that if they're waiting, you're going to be absolutely fine. So those of you playing Karthus in solo queue, good idea, as the bubble is going to land onto the Karthus. He's out of vision, but Lahenz picks him off. Now they're diving on him, but Spirit is still alive. Lahenz surviving on just a sliver. No Requiem available, as Cube was trying to get in with the Sky Strike on the outside, but he's not quite able to. Oh my god, reads it as now Mystic with the follow-up damage. Gets the snare from his Gravitum. Crescendum now picked up. That's not going to help him. Lowest range of his kit. And now they're able to keep pushing forward, and more plates available here for Mystic.
Emperor Palpatine up there.
Yeah, overseeing his minions. And there's the dive forward. Haru looking for Mystic, standing outside the feather. No, just caught on the edge. And the double kill instantly comes in for Vista. Investing the flash, but getting the payoff there as well.
That's a really big breath of fresh air for Hanwha Life. Vista able to pick up those 2 kills right there at a really clutch moment. And also, it salvages some of the remaining turret plates in mid lane. You don't want to get 15 plated this game, as Haru he's able to make this gamble knowing that even if him and Vista take some damage, Requiem's still on cooldown. And so, never really gets into any danger, but...
Well, that danger time that we were talking about is going to be up pretty soon. And that's when Hanwha are going to have to start playing very carefully. But they have been able to pull things back. Kane is at a deficit right now. This Mystic is going to steal away the Karthus' red buff. I think that's allowed. He's getting quite impatient. Yeah, he's going to reset. Mystic, that was a little bit silly. You don't have enough damage to do that just yet. Let's try it again. There we go. Get the crescendo. Then you can just throw a million chakrams at stuff, and then everything's okay. Having a look at bottom side, we've got the revolver completed for Kane. He's not going to hit.
Well,
very sad.
We could have hoped.
This Hanwha team comp doesn't actually fight grouped up, though. I mean, I just don't think the slicing maelstrom's really what is going to get you in. There are so many reasons to play on-hit cannon at this moment.
There really is. And so maybe maybe the thought just didn't cross his mind.
Yeah, perhaps.
And that is all that's going on. Because it's been a very long time since on-hit cannon has actually come in to the meta. Oblivion Orb actually picked up on Karthus. This is going to serve a purpose against 3 of the primary carries on the side of Hanwha Life, whereas Cube with that magic resistance, as it stands, the Oblivion Orb not going to be doing massive amounts. It would be really bad, though, if Karthus just randomly completes Morello, because there's basically no healing on the side of Hanwha Life.
Yep. Apart from, I guess, Lahen's having a little bit in his passive, and Haru's W, helping him heal up just a little bit, but I see your point entirely.
Look at Zaya's MR, it's 33. Karthus has exact true damage on Vista right now.
Which means, if we hover over the Karthus and have a look at the damage number of his ultimate, which is going to be pretty large, that's just how much damage he's going to do.
The Dark Harvest stacks as well.
Yep.
Not sure how many he has right now. We'll be able to know
I don't think
once.
He's got too many.
Yeah, I think he has 3. I think he has 3 or he has 4.
Yeah.
I know that he ripped one off of Elise at the river fight where he didn't have Requiem, and she managed to barely get away. And then he obviously has it from his kill and his assist. But beyond that, I don't think there's anything else because he missed out on the Requiem on Cube in bot lane.
Yep.
So I do believe that he's only at 4 Dark Harvest stacks, which is a little bit lower than he would typically like to be at this point in the game, but not the end of the world. As Shirley now going to be picked up.
Yep, Spirit going to be able to throw that into a lane as well. Might be the outer turret on the bottom, in the mid lane. As Mystic is holding on, I believe, to like 1 ammo in his Calibrum. This Infernum is what he wants to get through next. His attempt hops on over, but can't get the bubble. No terrain to throw it through, so Mystic is able to stay at range. Total gold, so far Mystic in the lead. 6.6k, very, very well. No, it's actually Spirit that's in the lead, just by a little bit.
Credit to Haru, actually, for actually keeping, I just said actually twice, but credit to Haru for keeping up with Karthus despite the early game start, and also the acceleration that Karthus ended up being granted. He didn't gank a lot, and it was a byproduct of it's very hard to gank, and so he kept power farming, and thus he's remained relevant here in the mid game. He also has an Oblivion Orb himself, which is going to be really good. You can see there's no magic resistance present.
Yeah, I mean,
Kennen, 34 MR.
This is a big item spike for the Elise. I hope that blasting one turns into a Void Staff, by the way, on Spirit's side, but only time will tell. He has his stopwatch as well. He's battle ready. And speaking of battle ready, Jelly getting taken down to half health basically in an instant. However, he is going to be all right. Beach Ball goes just short of Keen. No harm, no foul. Jelly just taking a bit of damage. Doesn't have his stopwatch, but does have Gargoyle's Stoneplate that he didn't have to invest into that moment. And Fly now getting in position for a flank. Could get behind them here as Shirley does make her presence known. Yeah, Cube is going to engage on the fly. Bit of damage. Runic Echoes as well, popping up Lahen's. Does a bit of damage. That beach ball wasn't going anywhere anytime soon.
Hanwha Life is potential. Oh,
yeah, they're between about 3 decisions
very dangerous.
Right now. Yeah. Tempt is going to be able to kill Shirley as Kane looking for an opportunity to find a way in. Harrier utilized. by Cube, trying to spot them out as this third Drake of the game is going to be denied.
Afreeca don't need to fight here. They're playing around core item spikes. This would actually be one of the closer fights Hanwha Life would actually look to take. This is when their items are probably at their closest points while Afreeca is pooling a lot of gold on their champions. And they haven't recalled yet. So, in terms of on-field battle stats, you just look at all of the items. Elise is really close to Karthus. Yeah. When you consider that they're basically pound for pound. Pantheon really close to completing, I believe Edge of Night is going to end up being his first item.
Unless he goes to finish his Black Cleaver as soon as possible.
Yeah, that would be pretty far away. And Kennen just sitting on the Gunblade means that Quinn is actually ahead of Kennen right now in terms of on-field stats, so...
Also maybe ahead of the Kennen in gold as well. You can see the CS deficit's actually quite high. Going to take this Rip Scuttler as well. And stealing away any sort of jungle camps from a Karthus comp is a great idea. Mystic just trying to get to that Hurricane as soon as possible.
Karthus Recalls actually picks up the Morello, and there's just not really any healing. I mean, you have Zoe's heal active, you have Lahenz's heal active, but beyond that, there's not that much reduction. And typically, he's only going to apply it via the Requiem, which means that it comes in typically at the end of the fight when he's already executing them. So there's not a lot of room left for their healing to come online.
There is merit in starting a fight with a Requiem, but not if Hanwha are going to build all the items that are required in order to just stop that. Edge of Night, for example, and Banshee's Veils, things like that. Going
Leandri's here would just be a lot better, especially because you don't need to actively look to fight right now. You're still actually a couple of minutes away until Kennen completes second core item, Pantheon completes the Black Cleaver, Aphelios completes his utility item after purchasing the Essence Reaver and the Hurricane. And if that ends up being the case, you sit on the Oblivion Orb, and you invest the 1,400 gold plus the assumed gold per minute that Karthus can get while farming his jungle camps and even some lane XP, and he can probably show up at the next team fight with a Leandri's or with a Void Staff while his teammates also complete their other core items.
Right now we're watching Keen on the bottom side. Haru was there, but Lahens now might be in trouble. Jelly, that's the wrong direction for that hook. As our friend Ejim would say, it was heading towards Narnia. And that is not going to hit anyone. Just FYI. This turret is going to get brute forced. Haru just shows himself, and they will be able to take that one down. But now Afreeca knows they can make an aggressive move towards this top side. Lahens pretty tricky with the grand entrance. Going to use it to exit towards the blast cone. Uses that to create enough distance for safety. Now Afreeca own this top side entirely. Mystic with the Calibrum Crescendum combo is a siege machine right now. Sentry turret as well as all of the long range bullets. And an Edge of Night is done, but it's done by Fly. So not the Quinn who we were expecting potentially pick that one up. She's actually nowhere near it by the looks of things. That BF sword, I don't know where that's going, but it's certainly not going to be...
I think it's to an Infinity Edge.
Edge of Night.
If you would... Well, the BF sword on Quinn, and even on Xayah, it's most likely going to be an Infinity Edge, but I feel like normally would be an argument to go Bloodthirster on Quinn, but because the Morello is already there...
Oh, this cheeky ward is hella cheeky, by the way. Hanwha know exactly what's going on. Jelly trying to tank this one up as Mystic. Shows that he's doing damage to it. Fly hasn't dropped his shield just yet as Lahen's going to pop before anything happens. Requiem comes down as well on top of Fly coming in at the same time. The Moonfall's gigantic as Mystic looking for Cube. Finds the high range at least, but Cube going to have to run the heck out of there. Fly in trouble. Does he actually have any of that damage mitigation? The answer is no, but they're not going to hit him with any abilities. And Afreeca just pick up a kill on the top laner and the support, and they'll back away. Jelly dies as well, and it looks like Afreeca aren't going to be able to do the Baron.
Well, no, they're going to start it back up again.
Never mind.
You forgot they have a Latios.
They have a Latios, and they have a lot of damage coming out of Spirit. Fly comes in there as well, utilizing his teleport. He has a full health bar. Tempt has a flash, but Keen is looking for a Zoe. The Paddle Star is going to be tanked by Fly, and Tempt, in fact, just takes a bit of damage from the Baron.
Way too far away, and it's not like Zoe has her regular flash and that there's a smite that she could pick up to try to go for some sort of a steal using her R or even her flash. And let's take a look at how this all transpires. Jelly missing a lot of his HP, 4,000 left on the Baron. Lahen pulls the trigger and goes for the backline. I don't know what he's thinking to try to do. Requiem comes out. And interestingly enough, if there's a point where Morello could maybe play a part, it would be here, but you can just see no one has any time to heal.
No.
As they're all running for the hills. And you saw that Requiem damage on all of the targets that don't have magic resistance, because Karthus is dealing true damage. And so, even though there's the cannon that is building some... Well, that's a cute balloon. Well, that's actually really cute.
Yeah, they're really cute,
like
right?
Snow globe.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think that was a very adorable snowcast. Or
Yeah.
I minion.
Actually, I feel like the balloons are very different now on this patch because we see less, I guess.
Yeah.
Because normally you just see the icons for the things, but I haven't actually seen icons. I've just seen balloons everywhere, and it's way better. I love this.
That balloon was a great distraction, by the way. Totally took my mind off what I was trying to say. So,
You were
credit
just,
to the,
you were just
the
talking
artist.
about Karthus again.
Yeah.
So you can go back.
Okay.
I'm happy to listen
Well,
to it again.
credit to the artist that drew those Zilly balloons on the minions. I think it looks absolutely fantastic.
Yep. Very,
And
very
definitely
cute.
makes me want that skin.
Yeah, and you can actually
So.
purchase it for yourself. Utilize your Riot points in the Riot store, and that can be yours.
Thank you.
Not too much money, especially if you take your parents' credit card.
No, don't do that without permission.
No, you can't do that without
Yeah,
permission.
no.
But if they're nice parents, they'll let you use it. As the inner turret, going to take a bit of damage here.
So,
And Afreeca just in entire control. This Baron allowing them to lay waste to the Rift.
See, I see what you did there.
To Spirit's
Yeah.
Q ability. Haru looking for a flank, but is that the flank that he wants? As the Moonfall comes down, that is the Graviton, so that means Cubase is going to be stunned. And then the Dredge line, the depth charge, everything comes forward, but Cubase survives for a long time. Zaya picks up the kill onto the Karthus, and now the Requiem is going to come in. Jelly's dead, but Cubase able to tank through that one. The lay waste almost taking out Haru. But otherwise, that is an example of Afreeca biting off a little more than they can chew.
There was no reason to do that, especially because Quinn is the tankiest member, as weird as that sounds, on Hanwha Life. Outside of course, the Rakan that has the stopwatch and all the magic resistances. So, take a look at it one more time. Mystic lands a really good ultimate on Aphelios. Roots Cubase down. Slicing Maelstrom comes in, the exhaust, but then Lehen, just on the horizon, comes in, locks everyone up. The Requiem ends up being cast, but not quite able to get the kill in the end. Not sure if Spirit cast the Wall of Pain, actually, when he was in his...
I think he cast it initially.
Yeah,
you get it back off cooldown again as soon as you enter your dead state. It's been a while since I played Karthus.
I
feel
actually
like
play
you
him
played
all the... I
recently.
play him all the time. I think you...
No, you don't. You definitely
No, you
don't.
don't.
You don't get
No,
Requiem
no.
back or anything else.
No,
It's late, guys. We are cresting 11 p.m. here in Korea.
Do you know that I believe that we've had 4 out of 11 days almost go to midnight.
Yeah, and you know, Brendan had one, I had one, and you had all of them.
Yes,
And,
thank you.
So now we're up to the last one, meaning I'm the lucky man. I get 2. Feels good.
I'm the lucky one.
I know,
I
you
get
get
to have
all
you
of them.
today.
I know.
Thank you.
You just get all of them. You get 2 different friends, whereas we have to wait for our second friend to come up. Bryce E. Jim Paul is soon to arrive. Sometimes these visas are difficult to get. Complications happen.
Yeah,
you know.
they definitely do.
And then LS has to cast for an extraordinarily long amount of time.
I'm looking forward to it next week.
Oh, heck yeah.
As well. And I'm looking forward to actually more matches that Afreeca and Hanwha Life both do play. It is nice to see their drafts and the way that they play around the champions as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gen G is another example. They had a good day yesterday when it came to drafts and builds and things like that. So
Gen G had a phenomenal performance yesterday.
yeah, really, really
It was
good.
very, very fun to watch.
Especially after what was a pretty disappointing start, to be perfectly honest. Gen G felt like they didn't come out the gate as strongly as they would have wanted against a KT team that didn't really show us anything in the Casper Cup. Yes, they have a lot of well-known names and things like that, but just doesn't seem like the cohesion is there. But seeing Gen G really strike back was very impressive and heartwarming. Afreeca and Hanwha Life. These are another two teams. I wasn't expecting Hanwha to be another one that would be to look out for, but they've certainly proved us wrong.
Fly was actually just randomly casting his Qs in order to charge up his passive. It's not that he was just spamming abilities needlessly.
Yeah.
Pantheon has been reworked.
Fill up those red things, guys. That's how that one works. Do that, good stuff will happen. It's the Dummies Guide. Wall of Pain. Going to land, but as will the bubble. Now Spirit needs to be protected. Tempt actually taking a lot, as I believe Moonfall still available. And we've got Crescendum Calibrum. I don't know how Mystic does it, but he seems to always have these two guns. Fantastic in these sort of siegey scenarios, especially now that the Runar's Hurricane is completed. Not going to hit the Q just yet, and another bubble is going to land. Tempt showing the power of Zoe at around the 20 to 40 minute mark.
Okay.
Requiem comes in. He's going to get a very early Featherstorm out of Vista, and now will not have that available for the ensuing fight, as now Cube thinking about a flank. He gets slowed down, massive burst damage as that one comes in, and Spirit flashes over the wall. Now it's a flanking Karthus scenario as Haru flashes and just misses the cocoon and goes straight to the death chamber. Tempt off to the side, Wall of Pain tags him up, and Afreeca aren't even interested in this dragon. They're just wanting to try and hunt down the members of Hanwha Life that are still standing. The bottom lane are here. Maybe Jelly in trouble as Lahens with the quickness is going to run really quickly, but is he heading to the grave or to success? Dredge line max range. It's all about success here. He may be going to the grave as well, but a double kill for Keen ensues. The dragon is taken down in about a split second by Mystic and Spirit, and Baron is alive. Afreeca looking for their second.
And this is really well played by Spirit on this Karthus, really just taking matters into his own hands.
Oh yeah.
At
this is like
several
LS
different
and solo
points.
queue right now.
This is a really nice Karthus game to watch if you're wondering what type of things this champion can do.
And
how
what
to
they
take
should
initiative
be
yourself.
doing is the main thing. Is that we've seen a lot of, especially Korean Karthuses in 2019, just play the champion wrong.
Yes.
And
they try to gank with him too much.
Exactly. And Spirit is just he's
Power
just living
farming,
his best life.
Requieming.
Wait for the one that hits. There we go. Ouch.
Karthus is actually Thanos, you know?
Yeah. And he actually looks a bit like him as well. Look at that.
Yeah,
Just avoids it and just dead. Extremely dead.
And Tempt trying to get away there at the very end. The remaining members ended up being dogged down shortly thereafter. And Jelly with the Nautilus hook from downtown.
Yeah, wait for this one.
Yeah.
And
I thought that was going to hit Rakan.
Yeah, me too.
I've seen some of those Nautilus hitbox videos, and I mean, hell, there was a chance it would hit the golems, honestly, the way.
I think that dragon died in about the same time that Vista did.
Well,
it was very, very fast. As Spirit, he's winning on the damage dealt, as we're filling out the MVPs already. LS just picked up his pen, looking to see where that one goes. Let's just hold off. Who knows what's going to happen next? As at least Keen, as far as building your, AP damage cannon, he's got a pretty good build.
Cube has actually been one of the stable, fallbacks that Hanwha Life has actually had this game. He did really well in the CS department. His itemization was a bit proactive, but in the end ended up working out as Keen did go down the magic damage cannon route, and he's had a lot of key moments where he ended up surviving and dragging Afreeca into pretty awful scenarios. So definitely a really great turnaround from his game 1 and 2 performance.
Bit of top laner redemption here this game on both sides. Keen as well, running back the cannon. The last one was not great, but now he's getting in close. In goes the quickness. Grand Entrance comes down as well. The Trouble Bubble. He buffers the Slicing Maelstrom. Can he actually go golden? Whoa! I don't know whether he has one, as there's the Requiem. Down comes Haru to explode in lands. Almost dies as well. I would have stayed up in the sky a little bit longer, to be perfectly honest. I don't know whether he was going to be able to get through there. And Haru had his Zhonya's back up off of cooldown. I think maybe he thought that the channel got broken, but it doesn't.
This is the thing about Karthus too, is that There is no mage jungler that is going to out-damage him or offer the same level.
Oh my god, Mystic almost died there. The turret is going to be the one that actually does fall. Moonfall comes down, Lahan's in trouble, but no Calibrum to lock him down from range. Now the engage comes forward. Cube is going to fall down. Spirit goes gold at exactly the right time and survives. No Requiem available. So they're out of range of the lay wastes. Now Mystic with his Infernum just wanting to go 1v3. Decides against it.
The minions! They're gonna do it!
Yep, taking
They
it down.
raise the bottom inhibitor, and these are really awkward inhibitor times. These are very layered to be extremely obnoxious.
Yeah, it doesn't actually have a stopwatch or anything like that. We couldn't see that at that particular moment. Although I had just looked at his items.
라칸 노고.
Rakan no flash, no ultimate. And he said, please, right before the Requiem ended up going off. I wonder if he thought that it would kill Rakan as well. And like I was saying, you can pick Elise all you want, but if your laners are stable and self-sufficient, there's no AP jungler that will outshine this champion. It requires your laners to be on the same page. It requires them to play a little bit differently. And the trade-off is that you'll wake up in the late game with one of the strongest champs in the game.
Well, that Infernum was cycled through there by Mystic. Of course, when you use your Q ability, you use up a chunk of your ammo bar. As you can see, Mystic's got, 5 chunks. So that's 5 Qs that you can use there. Gravitum was picked up. So now you have like ammo on it as well as a little bit more. And that was 1 chunk being taken up there of the Calibrum. Just weave in a few of these facts here to try and redeem myself from my horrible casting earlier. As Fly throwing a Q forward, gets the repel out from Haru. Maybe a cooldown that could be relevant as Cube up against Keen, winning out with that matchup. And then the lifesteal working out for this Quinn.
All they have to do here is not fight. Inaction is action. Hanwha Life Esports is zombies. You're in a room.
There's no Nexus.
The army is on the way.
The Nexus is just dying right now. Yeah.
And so,
this is like Hanwha Life are playing. Oh, there is one Nexus turret. I apologize. But yeah, this is like they're playing a tower defense game at the same time as League of Legends, and Afreeca don't have to play the tower defense game. That's how this works.
Deathcap.
Everything's being picked up here by Afreeca.
Yeah, this is going to be the final push. There is no Thorin that's going to come running out in this Hobbit.
Nope.
As this is definitely going to be the fall. Also, great itemization out of Fly. Pure defensive utility. Requiem coming in early.
Yeah, we're starting up the fight with it. Temp taken almost down to death as Cube's an afterthought in the back line. The Moonlight Vigil does fly forward as Lahens tries to get the quickness onto a few members. So far, they're actually doing decently, but Mystic is still alive, flashing with the onslaught onto Tempt, who will come back, but only to his death as the Grand Skyfall comes in. And Fly, you can't block that one, mate. But he still will win.
You show up with a powerhouse, which is very rare in modern day jungle. Normally junglers, they get 1 item, 2 items maybe in some games, and then they're shut down. But truly a really nice showing here. Spirit feeling very happy. I Love Uv
Yeah, he's
the
actually out
macro
here.
god himself.
Yeah.
This is the godfather of macro for those
It's
that did
actually
not
really
watch
warm in here,
StarCraft
by the
1.
way, and that is a very big jacket there on I Love Ooh.
Yeah.
But
He used to be called the
congratulations.
Gorilla Terror.
Yes. He was also certainly an eclectic player when he was playing StarCraft.
Yes.
But we don't need to go into all that. He's now found himself a pretty decent team
The
here in the form of the Afreeca Freecs.
The face of an Elise that doesn't know
Yeah.
what she was supposed to do.
Well, to be perfectly honest, there wasn't much that he, like,
I mean,
him waiting in that brush for Spirit was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, he did the right early game move.
He did. And
but
Spirit
answered it in the right way.
it with the Wall of Pain, and from there, everything just fell behind.
Yeah.
If I could translate what they're saying to each other, it's like, well, I just don't know. I mean, this giant purple beam appeared above everyone's head.
Yeah.
Every couple of minutes.
And then what was I supposed to do?
What do you want me to do there? You want me to gank the cannon with
Right
my
now, the
twin?
conversation is like, you know that Requiem still goes off after you land. You know, after the rappel. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Why did you die with Zhonya's still up? But honestly, at that point, it was all over. And Haru did admirably to stay at least relevant when it came to farm in that game. It's just that sometimes the composition gets to where it needs to, and then you just watch the game fall apart around you. Props to Afreeca for playing it out as it needed to. We are going to be checking out some highlights pretty soon of these guys, but we're going to come over to us first. Another Aphelios game where the Aphelios was pretty good, but honestly wasn't the star of the show.
He definitely got the ball rolling, though.
Yeah, actually,
for
the bottom
Spirit.
lane plays
The bottom
were
lane
very,
play.
very
Speaking
This,
of devil,
for example.
here it is. This is what basically started it all. They took a trade, and again, this happens. Hanwha Life was like, I forgot they had Karthus. As Requiem came in, that was the fabled Morello in his hand, by the way. That's where he gets all the dirty tactics.
The fact that you hit with your offhand weapon as well after that mark thing is just so silly.
Was actually insane, by the way. Tempt RNG Ghost. Spirit flashes the wall, and I think if he just kept running north, he would have at least gotten the flash out of Pantheon eventually as well, but because he tried to juke down and pick up the flash that Karthus used, Pantheon just W'd onto him and got the kill anyway. This was a really big turning point as well by Vista and Haru. They knew that the Requiem was still on cooldown because Karthus had just tried to assassinate Cube in bottom, but didn't have the damage for it. So they were able to make that play, get some gold back and stability inside of the game. Lahen's here, just getting caught, trying to engage, interrupt whatever he could. Requiem came out early. There was no healing to be had at that point, as it was all legs on deck, as everyone was trying for Hanwha Life to run away. This was a pretty decisive point in the game as well. Cube with the Hex Drinker.
Great exhaust out of Cube.
Really good exhaust out of him. Lahen's just on the horizon coming out of yonder from Afreeca's point of view. Showing up there, didn't quite get the kill. And this was Spirit taking matters into his own hands. Wall of Pain hitting with the lockup assistance from Keen. Spirit flashes the wall, actually, I think, chasing down Cube. In the end, lay waste, Defile picking up the kill on Haru.
With true damage.
Yes.
450 damage from one Q is absolutely absurd.
Really good cohesion, really good gameplay. And I didn't talk about it in the runes, and I know that we're in the highlight phase here. One of the things that you want to do when the enemy team has Karthus is, if you can go into the sorcery tree, pick up the nullifying orb. It'll make him really sad when he casts Requiem, and that basically gives you double Hex Drinker.
Gonna listen
Just get the tower, and Cube was a little too late there. Just talking about summoner spells. Just end. Get it. I'm going. Nice.
And in goes Fly, dancing on the Nexus. And, yep, no surprise here that Karthus did the most damage in the game. 23k in a 36-minute victory. Not gigantic. I mean, I feel like the damage numbers, the amount of biffo that's been played between our teams today so far in the LCK has been lower than normal. That's all right. More cerebral games here.
Yeah.
In these last few, at least.
Yet another very long day.
Yeah, it's actually like some stark differences, though, between the two very close matches that we had. We had Ultra Sinners competing against one another in-game in our first match between DragonX and Sandbox. Ultimately, DragonX were able to come out ahead, but they were still committing some atrocities in the draft. Spirit in this match is going to be the player of the game. I have a feeling that this is going to be 100% of the votes because he was 100% of the team in this particular match. Thank you very much for that one. Picks it up, collects himself a Dark Harvest stack, I believe, as well. And just look, 225 damage onto Cuvée with a Q, and then have a look at the damage with the Q onto Haru.
Boom, 417. Boom, 451.
With the sweet spot. That's real rough.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like Hanwha Life didn't in any of the drafts. The game 1 draft was stunning, absolutely amazing. The next one just didn't necessarily work. They were utilizing
the second one was
Rumble
good
pretty
on
well.
paper, but remember the Mordekaiser just got
completely blown
annihilated.
away.
Yeah.
And sometimes that happens, right? Doesn't matter what the draft is. Sometimes you just lose because someone puts you in a hole and you can't get it. You can't escape being 2
and you
levels
can't even dig a
behind.
door.
Yeah, that was the issue. So 4 versus 5, not exactly going to be a way that you're going to take the win. However, still much better looks for these players. And yes, Spirit did get 12 out of 12, and that's also the rating
I
for
voted 3
Karthus
times
as a champion.
for him.
I voted, I just completed a line
3
of
check marks.
ticks. It was just ticks all the way along from the both of us, but it was just some fantastic play, and it means now we're going to be able to have a talk with Spirit as well. So let's hand it over to Ji-sun for some translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Ji-sun with the Universal Translation, and we'll be hearing from Keen, Spirit from Afreeca Freecs taking down Hanwha Life Esports. Both of you guys got 12 votes for this POG vote. And Keen also said top and jungle did everything today. How are you feeling right now? I'm happy that we won, but game number 1, you shouldn't have dropped that game, so I'm really unsatisfied about that fact. So yeah, heading into game number 2, we could see angry Keen. Your anger was really reflected in your play, right? We actually let them turn the game around. I mean, we were able to turn the game around, but we couldn't manage to pull it off, so I was really mad in game number 2. All in mode. And Spirit, you did mention you really want to take down your former coach Nofe. How you're feeling right now? For me, today, this one loss is bigger than like usual. So, this 2 game win also means a lot to me. So after getting the game number 3, you looked really excited because you carried the game, right? Well, I wasn't happy because I carried the game. I was just happy that we got the win, especially against Nofe. I really never wanted to lose against him. Even though losing game number 1, game number 2, Kiwin, you were just dominating everywhere on the Rift. So let's check out the highlight over here. So you were buying so many time all by yourself. What kind of calls went back and forth? I told my teammates I'll be having a fight over here. So there were a lot of opponent players coming to get me, so the rest of the players were going for the Baron. And also you had a 4-man turret dive in the early phase, but you managed to survive. But Spirit at that moment just abandoned Keen. But in the mic check you said Keen is doing so well, so we should never abandon him again. So did you think that he was gonna die at that moment? Whoa! I mean, there's no top laner surviving 4-man turret dive, but he did. After that, I realized that we should never ever leave him alone. So I apologized to him, and I promised that I will never abandon him. Well, I'm kind of having a lot of situations where I go to multiple players, getting outnumbered, so maybe that's why I just keep surviving those kind of situations. And Spirit, today Afreeca played 3 Pantheon games in a row, and also other champs as well. So was that the focal point of today's match? I was just kept telling our teammates, our coaching staff that I want to crush them, smash them. So I told them let's lock in Pantheon, and I think that worked quite okay. Especially Karthus in game number 3 was so impactful. So was that your opinion? We had other champions on our list, but I told them I want to play it. So our coaching staff told me, go with what you want to play, I trust you. And that your choice was right. Then we have also another highlight for Karthus as well. The burst damage from Karthus was amazing. Well, we had vision of Cuvée trying some flank. Well, I actually wasted my flash over there, but in the end, I was in a great position. So, and the rest, all of rest of my teammates were carrying that fight. So, especially the segment we had before going into the spring split. So, Bittori and Kanki picked Keen Spirit as the Dream Team members in LCK. And you already started to prove that. I'm really thankful for such a great compliment. Some people also, there were some haters saying, why are you part of the Dream Team? And I just realized why I was getting so many hates from the fans. But I will try my best to prove myself. And also Pitor said, junglers are the lowest class, but not for Spirit. Spirit is the best jungler. I thought he was picking on me, but if that's a compliment, I would like to say thank you to Vitor. Keen, your synergy and teamwork with Spirit is keep improving. Is there any point you guys want to work on? Whenever we find some of the blunders, we will try to work on it, but we are the longest standing top jungle duo, so if we just keep up with this good communication, I'm sure that we will make up all of our mistakes. Spirit, what's your goal for the split? We have one more match against Hanwha Life Esports. I'm gonna win that game. We'll be looking forward to that match, and this will be the end of the interview with Keen Spirit from Afreeca Freecs, and I'm going to pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, G-Sun, as usual, for your fantastic interview translations. Great to hear from the top and jungle duo from the Afreeca Freecs. Both have taken out the 12 out of 12, unanimously the best players of their games, but very different game to game, you know, and in the loss, you know, Keen looked like he wasn't there, came back on his Aatrox and demolished Hanwha Life almost by himself, and that is going to lead us to these standings. +3 for the Afreeca Freecs and Gen G. DRX with their 2-1 victories in both of their matches. They're 2-0, however, only 1 point is between them and Gen G and Afreeca, so they will be remaining in top spot. But Dragon X, another team that stayed theoretically undefeated as far as match score, and will also be up there, Lone Wolves in the 3rd position.
And you got to really look forward to when Dragon X, Gen G, and Afreeca will collide, as well as what's going to happen when Sandbox and Damwon really get their footing in terms of consistency, and seeing what's going to end up happening there. So that'll be really exciting to see in coming weeks as we're taking a look at our next matchup. So on Wednesday, APK versus Afreeca. That is one of the top, actually the top team.
That's a real tough one.
The league versus...
The next match, though, is really exciting. Griffin versus Sandbox, of course, our 2 promoted teams that came in the middle of 2018. But now, where do they stand? Because it's always been Griffin. It was Griffin at the start. It was the Griffin at the end of last year. They haven't changed that much, but they haven't picked up a win yet, and it's been a great start so far to Sandbox, despite falling to Dragon X. Speaking of which, a tough day for Dragon X. They have to face both of the teams that we just saw go up against one another in what was a pretty close match. Hanwha Life and then Afreeca on Thursday and Saturday, respectively. Otherwise, we do have a telecom war between KT and T1. It's a different style of telecom war right here, and KT no longer the team that we know and love. They're definitely more an amalgamation of old Hanwha Life and old Afreeca. However, still going to be some fun games to watch next week, and only a couple of days to wait. We're going to give this gentleman a bit of a rest, his first 5-day week, so congratulations, well done, and we'll see you next week, guys. Good night.